Hello, everybody. Hello. Good evening. And namaste. Welcome, everybody, to Shop Talk Live. We'll just wait for a couple of minutes as people get in. Oh, man. Stormy. I know it's cold there in the States, and man, is it stormy and cold here, too. So there we are. We got Alice Yim, we got Joan Wilkinson. And man, oh man, it is stormy and cold here. I know it's cold, cold, cold in the Midwest, all through the States. I would expect that people are just going to come in their nightgown. Who's in their nightgown? Are you in your nightgown, Joan? You ought to be. You really ought to be on this cold, cold night. I thought, we should be having a pajama party or something on this cold night doing Shop Talk Live. I thought that would be lots of fun. So I'm just going to give everybody a couple of minutes to get online, and I am we're going to talk about Enzygen tonight. It's a fantastic product. And you know what? I don't think that I've talked about it a lot over the years. I know I wrote the note. Hi, Nippy. I know I wrote the note on Enzygen back in 2016. But wow, probably haven't talked about it since I wrote the note. So let's see who else is here. Oh, we got Denise Burgess. We have Nippy Watson. Yes, you made it through the snow to be with me. Thank you. Nippy, are you getting a big snowstorm down there in London? Because the kids have not been to school here all week. It's awful. And I was looking for an old picture that I have of Own Sound, and it's just a picture of the road, and it says Own Sound's closed. You can't get in, you can't get out. So it's pretty nasty. And we got feet and feet and feet of snow and cold. Wow, cold. So you can see, I know I wear just swirls. Oh, not feet. Okay, Nippy. I know I wear turtlenecks all winter. I love them. And the cold, I never feel cold then. It's my neck. If it gets chilled, it feels cold. But it is really... Joan Wilkinson's in her robe. High five there, Joan. Absolutely. That's one thing I love about this doing this Shop Talk Live. We can see each other. We can chat actually back and forth here. Good evening, Burma. Is Burma here yet? We can chat back and forth here, and you can at least see me, and you can be at home there in your nightgown. So that's awesome. So we're going to talk about Enzygen Plus tonight, and the reason is a couple of things. There's a lot of conversation about microbiome, and so should it be lots of conversation about your microbiomes and the roles that microbiomes play in our health. Not just our health as adults, but our health as children, our children's health and our grandchildren's health. And if you haven't really looked into the microbiomes for the health of your grandchildren and your children, we're really missing a point. I started to talk about it actually back in about 2008, microbiomes, when people were asking me a lot of questions about autism and things like that for their children, and they named the syndrome for those children, and it was called GAPS, and it has to do with microbiomes in the digestive tract for those children with autism, and the children that have ADD and ADHD. They all have problems with their digestion. They're almost every one of them 100% sensitive to carbohydrates, and they have a problem with microbiomes. So that being said, as people move to a stronger plant-based diet, we've talked about our keto diet, our Get Fit 21. There's the paleo diet out there. Is stronger plant-based, and so there's a lot of beans and lentils in the diets of the vegans and the diets of the vegetarians. And so there's a lot of evidence now coming out that they have those foods, some of those plant-based foods have something called a lectin, Lectin, that wraps the outside of that bean, so to speak, and that the people aren't able to either digest that lectin, and that becomes a problem for them too. And so, believe it or not, as you would think that as we move to a more plant-based diet for those vegetarians and vegans and stuff, that all would be well, and their food would digest because they're eating whole raw foods and all of those things. But there's so much study now going on as to the things that we eat, that they found that it's not so simple, and simply being a vegan or a vegetarian doesn't actually guarantee that you're going to have super great health. And so, although, for many people it's a great solution, it's not a great solution for everybody. So I have printed, and it's been shared now out onto the timeline for Shop Talk Notes there. And it's called Enzygen Plus, a question of digestion. And this is the data that I collected in the research. I studied it almost 3 years ago now. 2.5 years ago. And so it basically covered off the history of enzymes, dietary enzymes, and talked about them. And you know what? Nobody thought digestive enzymes were a therapeutic. Not really. Not until just recent years here. And I'm talking about very short recent years. We talked about digestive enzymes maybe helping you digest your food, but people didn't understand that in better digestion, in more bioavailability of the nutrients, that it has actually a therapeutic response in your body. So this is a pretty in-depth review. It talks about the history of enzymes. It talks about why we are in such need of enzymes today, primarily because of the way that we do our foods and how we process our foods. Hello, Judith. Welcome to the call. How we process our foods, the temperatures that are used in our foods, all of those things literally leave our foods bereft of any kind of enzymes. If it's processed, the heat that is used to process the food destroys the natural enzymes that were originally in the food. So now you don't have the foods helping you digest your food, okay? Now, there is a condition that happens for us, all of us, as we age. It's almost like we're born with what might be called an enzyme bank. And as you use your enzymes, and as you grow older, we tend to become more and more deficient in enzymes, our own natural, what we call endogenous enzymes. Those are enzymes that we make ourselves in our body. That's what endogenous means, okay? And so generally the rule of thought is that as we age, we lose about 10% per decade of our enzymes. So by the time you get to your 60s and 70s or so, you're not digesting very well at all. And people tend to build and develop as they get older, believe it or not, food intolerances. Now, we have a tendency to call them allergies, food allergies, but they really are sensitivities or intolerances, or rather than an allergy. And sometimes when we have a food intolerance, it can mimic all kinds of things, but it primarily is happening and coming from our digestive tract. We get irritable bowel syndrome, and some of the statistics of people that are 70 and over, it's like 80% of them have IBS, irritable bowel syndrome. And it's primarily they don't have enough fiber in their diet, they don't have enough microbiomes in their digestive tract, and they certainly aren't producing enough enzymes to digest their food correctly, and they're not supplementing with the enzymes by and large either. So it's creating this kind of perfect storm inside of their bodies. People even that claim or say that they are lactose, they're allergic to lactose. We tend to be lactose intolerant, or we don't tolerate the proteins or the sugars that are in our dairy. And you know what? Our Enzygen Plus does have the enzymes that are required that could help you with that. So Enzygen Plus, let me tell you, we always had a digestive enzyme. And a number of years ago, they actually revamped the Enzygen and brought out this product called Enzygen Plus, and they filled it with enzymes. Like, usually when you buy an enzyme, you get 3 or 4 enzymes in an enzyme supplement, but I can't remember how many enzymes are in here. I think something like 32 or something. And as you read through this, there's proteolytic enzymes, proteases, and not just one protease. There's a number of proteases, and they all play a different role. And this paper actually explains to you the different role. There's peptides, there's bromelain, there's all the proteolytic enzymes, which is pepsin, bromelain, and papain. It's all in this single product. It has lipases. It has carbohydrate enzymes. That's the amylase. That is the glucoamylase that helps you digest your sugars and deliver it differently into your body. It has malt dietase. It has invertase. It has galactase, lactase, cellulase, helping you digest fibers and celluloses and stuff. It has a proprietary sericalase, which is a proprietary blend of different enzymes, and that helps you hydrolyze or digest your polysaccharides, and it's unique to this product, and we're not paying attention to this product, and I'll talk about it a little bit more as we go. And so it's just filled with all these enzymes that are really difficult to find. And I'm telling you, I believe that this product, you can't find it anywhere else on this planet. I don't know why this product isn't, one of our #1 sellers. I really don't. Because you got all those enzymes in there to begin with that are going to help you digest your food, it's going to help deliver the nutrients better into your bloodstream so that you can benefit better from the nutrients. It's going to do all of these things for you. And then we get to the plus part. And the plus part is the antioxidants that we added to this. Now, we used to have a product called It was called Chloroplasma Plus. And Chloroplasma Plus was retired a year ago. And it was like the sky was falling, the sky was falling. And people were so upset because Chloroplasma Plus was one of our, what we call heritage products. I would have called it a heritage product. Somebody said, how long had Chloroplasma Plus been here? Well, it had been here as long as I was. It was here before I was. I believe it was here before Burma was. And because I remember Bob Burney telling the story, who was part of Burma's support line, that when he started with what is now Unicity, he was completely focused on one product, and that was a product called Power Burn, which helped you lose weight. And so he did all kinds of nasty stuff to grow this business. Like he borrowed somebody's car and drove it all over the states doing meetings and enrolling people into this first one of a kind way to lose weight called Power Burn. And he didn't pay any attention. There was about 3 or 5 products besides Power Burn. One of them was Nature's Tea was there. That's how long Nature's Tea has been here too. One of the old classic products. And then all of a sudden, he discovered this blue-green algae, this Chloroplasma Plus. And when he discovered the Chloroplasma Plus, in 90 days, his volume tripled in 90 days. So he was making really good money already as he was launching this new product called Power Burn. And then he found Chloroplasma. And when they understand, and as you read this document, when you get down here into the antioxidant enzymes and botanical ingredients, when you're into the botanical ingredients, you are now into the product called Chloroplasma. And so it contains a blue-green algae. Now, blue-green algae this one is a freshwater algae, and it has got all kinds of beta carotene. It has essential fatty acids. It's rich in B vitamins. It has natural minerals that are chelated, meaning that those minerals are bound with an amino acid. Contains high in chlorophyll, and it contains 10 essential amino acids. Now, blue-green algae are one of the richest superfoods, one of those rich super whole foods and sources of the vitamin A and carotenoids and all of this. And I can tell you, I've dealt with people who have been very, very, very sick over, the last 2.5 decades. And people who have struggled through taking their therapies and trying to be well. And as an anti-carcinogenic, blue-green algae is one of the best as an anti-tumor. And I actually know that the combination of the blue-green algae, the chlorella, and the spirulina that is absolutely important for people who want to recover from things like that. So the blue-green algae, it also contains the chlorella. It contains kamut grass, which is an ancient heirloom variety of wheatgrass, super high in chlorophylls, and it's rich in vitamins and minerals. And spirulina, which is another kind of algae that contains large amounts of beta carotene and the linoleic acids, okay, and GLAs. So it is incredible. People ask me, you want to do something about your thyroid? Well, we know what kelp does for your sea kelp, for your thyroid. This is where you get your kelp, is right here in our Enzygen Plus. It contains spinach and lecithin also. And so it is a knockout, drag down product that I would call a superfood that I believe needs to be in every single person's cupboard. I use it myself. It has, you know, if I'm not feeling good, or if and you would think I would use it just for digestion. I don't use it just for digestion. I use it for energy. I use it for when you're feeling like you're getting a cold or something. I use it. You know, Max had some stuff going on, and I used it, and for he was a little arthritic. He was inflamed. It's an anti-inflammatory, and I used it for that, and it was amazing how quickly he came around. So, you know, I use it every day. I take between 1 and 3, sometimes 1, sometimes 3. And that's what I call designing your nutritional supplements, okay? And so you can ask yourself, you can get used to saying to yourself, hold it in your hand and say, how much Enzygen Plus do I need today? Whatever number pops in your head, that's the one. So I don't know. Does anybody sitting here online here have an Enzygen Plus in their house? Shireen, do you have some, Shireen Hussein, do you have some Enzygen Plus in the house right now? If you do, ask yourself, if I were to take Enzygen Plus, how many would I need right now? Give me your number. I know you're listening there, Shireen. She's having a tea. She told me that. But ask yourself, how about you, Joan? Anybody there? No? Okay. I can tell you that I needed 3 today. So there you go. So that was the product I wanted to cover, as always. And I'm going to start to talk to you about something. So I know that there's something on the website, and it doesn't tell you a darn thing, really, except for that Unicity is going to launch a new program by around the end of February. And the new program is called 365. Unicity 365. And people are saying, well, what is it about? And me too. Like, I mean, I'm here with you guys, okay? And so I was talking today to somebody, and I said, 365, what is it? And they said it's the extension of Get Fit 21. Get Fit 21 is a 3-week program. It's foundational learning for individuals who want to make a shift in how they eat, how they move, how they think about food. And it gives them, it's done within a community, and people grow there. People repeat the 21 days. 21 days gives you the foundation. It kind of gives you an idea what you should do. But, you know, if you repeat that Get Fit 21, and I highly recommend that everybody repeats it until they get it and start sailing. It just helps with the accountability. Now, some people don't like Get Fit 21 because they say, oh, well, like, I mean, we're taking pictures of our food and we're posting it on Facebook and blah, blah, blah. And like, I mean, this is crazy stuff. But let me tell you, I agree. At least I used to agree. Well, something happened when I started taking pictures of my food. It wasn't ground shaking at first. It was like all of a sudden one day I'm taking a picture of my food, and I am now fully aware of what I'm putting in my mouth. I think that we eat, and I know we do, we eat habitually. We eat through programming. However we were raised, we eat. Like your mom taught you to cook, or if you're not a great cook, then your mom maybe wasn't a great cook either. I don't know. My grandmother taught me how to cook, so I cook like grandma did. My daughters cook like mom does, me. My son cooks like me. We all have our favorite recipes, things like that, that were handed down through the family. And when they talk about disease and illness and things like that being genetic, it's really not genetic. The only thing that's genetic is the family cookbook. And I'm telling you, I didn't realize how genetic it was until I started taking pictures of my food. And I was realizing what was on the food. And, you know, sometimes we think, like, I've run into people saying, well, like, rice is supposed to be good for you. And, or I'm saying, well, not the white rice. The brown rice is good for you because it has the the flax around it. It has the fiber there. Or the wild rice is that because it has the fiber there. And you know, there was a study done because the Asian women had the lowest rates of breast cancer of anybody in the world. Back in the 60s, it was like 1 in 100 Asian women got breast cancer. In the 50s, in the 40s, in the 30s, and in the U.S. at that time, we were like 1 or 2, maybe 3 in 100, and then it started to grow. Like, I mean, now the stats about breast cancer are horrendous. 20 some years ago, it was 1 in 8 women were going to be facing breast cancer, and it's way above that now. And so this doctor, Miknovich was his name, did this research and study. And why were these Asian women, and something that they noticed, that when the Asian women moved to North America, their stats and their risk for breast cancer went up, okay, accordingly till if they were here long enough, they had the same risk as the North American women. And they wondered what was the difference there. If they'd stayed in Asia, they'd have this really incredibly low risk. But during the 60s, the incidence of breast cancer began to rise. And so this Dr. John Miknovich did this research. And he found, are you ready? As long as the Asians ate brown rice, their breast cancer rates or risks was very low. And during the 60s, the move was to more and more and more white rice, because white rice was thought to be the rice of the richer Asians, and the brown rice was poor man's food. And as the consumption of white rice rose in Asia, so too did the breast cancer risk. And it was because they were losing that hull that was around the rice. Now, that's a true story, and it's called the anti-breast cancer diet. It's Dr. John Miknovich, okay? And he is the one that discovered the indoles. He was one of the first ones that discovered what they call now superfood, which are the cruciferous vegetables, the cabbages, the broccoli, the Brussels sprouts, the cauliflower, all of those indole-rich vegetables. I always say you can tell if they got indoles. You can tell if your vegetable has active indoles in it. Okay, in the right indole that you're after is called indole 3-carbinol, because it stinks. Do you remember how cabbage used to stink when it was being cooked? Do you remember how broccoli used to stink when it was being cooked? How come it doesn't stink anymore? Because it doesn't contain the indole 3-carbinol, like it used to because of our growing practices and our shipping practices and all of that stuff. But Dr. John Michnovich found that the anti-breast cancer diet was increase your fiber and increase your indole-3 carbinol. Correct. And so, you know, when we do something like Get Fit 21 and we ask you to substitute a food, or we ask ourselves to substitute our food, Get Fit 21 isn't just about a diet to get you skinny. It's about a diet and a lifestyle to get you healthy, keep you healthy, and carry you through into the future, being your very best you. So that's basically what that is all about. So there you go. Shireen Hussein takes 3 Enzygen plus a day. There you go. So, ladies and gentlemen, think about that. As we ask people to replace foods, which are the genetic part of our life, it's the Grandma's Cookbook, and replace it with more healthy superfoods, that's what we're about. We really are about making that difference for everybody and teaching people what they can eat, how to eat, why they should eat this, that, or the other thing. That's what Get Fit 21 is about. And if you've not done it, if you haven't been through a program, then you are really, truly cheating yourself. You may be costing yourself who knows what. And is it easy? It's always easy. It's always easy. Do you fall off the wagon and make mistakes? Yeah, we're all human too. The point isn't perfection. The point is to get better. And that's why you repeat and repeat and repeat and get better. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's my call this week. I do have a Get Fit 21 starting on February 4th. That's this coming Monday. I will remind you about my forever group called On the Lighter Side. Contact me and we can chat, and you may want to be part of my forever group, because guess what? It sounds a lot like 365, and we're ahead of the curve here. So there you go. Anyway, everybody, thank you for coming. That's my half hour. I hope this was helpful. I hope you learned something really cool and new this week. And you know what? If you're placing an order for the month end, it is month end tomorrow night, ladies and gentlemen. If you're placing an order, you may want to try some Enzygen Plus. Thank you very much, and have a great day. And hey, we'll chat next week. 365, you might want to be bringing some people there, because I'm going to kind of dig out the information and share it with you piece by piece. Have a great weekend. Have a good month end, and we'll see you next Wednesday. Thank you.